Hi, okay, this tutorial is about MS processing. What we're going to do specifically is to take a stereo file, I'll play some for you, stereo drum file, and we're going to turn it from stereo, which is left and right, and split it into mid and side components. There's a few things that we're going to do to this. Obviously, just a few things to say. There's lots of different ways you can approach this. These days, there are many plugins that have kind of MS options within them. I'm doing this to show you how to what exactly is going on with those plugins, because often we just do stuff without really understanding the basis behind it. So hopefully through doing this will give you a greater understanding of what's happening behind it and will help you to make better decisions and be better engineers and producers. Okay, so let's get into it. Here's my stereo track. Now I want to split it into mid and side components. So what I'm going to do is to create 3 mono auxiliary inputs. Quickly, duplicate times 2. Okay, 3 mono inputs, and now I'm going to name these mid and side left and side right. Cool. Now the side left and side right, I want to treat those as one kind of track, I guess. So I'm going to create a group, call that sides. Great. Now, the final thing that we need to do as well is after we've split these, for practical purposes, you don't want to have generally when you're mixing something or when you're working, you don't want to have 3 channels working with something that it's just kind of a bit cumbersome. So what we tend to do then is to create a stereo auxiliary as a final process where we sum them back together, which we call MS sum. Okay, now I'm going to go into the other window. And first things first, what I need to do is change or encode or decode, whatever you want to say, the stereo file from left and right to M and S. So as I said, we can do this. There's many ways you can do this. We can do it manually, which is easy enough, but a little bit convoluted, and I'll do another tutorial for that. But what I'm going to do today is to use an encoder. There's many encoders around and available. The Waves MS Matrix is good. I'm going to use the Hoffer 4U meter fader and MS pan. And in order to do the encoding, all I need to go is to the mode area and click the stereo button, and it changes it from stereo to MS. So now let's have a listen. I'm going to mute that for a second. Here's our stereo sound. Now it's been split into M and S. Now M is on the left-hand side. Hang on, sorry about that. And the side, the S, is on the right-hand side. Okay, something's going on here. Let's see how we go. Right. So now, actually probably a better way to this is split these straight away. So what I want to do is to send these out to my 3 mono auxiliaries. I need to use a bus for the routing here, and I've already pre-made or pre-named some buses, but I can use any free bus. That's what I want. This just makes it clear for me. MS Matrix, I've called this. Okay, so it's going out stereo, out through the bus MS Matrix, and I want it to come in. Now, remember we said mid is on the left side, put it there. And then for my sides, which are on the right side, I'm going to get the input coming from the right-hand side. So now we have audio coming through here. And let me do safe solo on that one. This is just the mid information. And now the side information. There's something a little bit not right about that. Sounds different from what it sounded before. So what the hell is going on here? Now, part of the process is that we need to kind of be treating this as a stereo signal. So for starters, these both being panned center is not correct. But first of all, I want to talk about an important aspect, which is we need to flip the phase on one of the channels. Now let's do that with the trim plugin. Flip the phase. Now when I play this now, you won't hear anything whilst they're pan center. Hang on, let's solo these. Yes, and that's correct. Okay, because what does that mean? That means that they're cancelling each other out when I've flipped that phase. So now if I pan them, wow, they come back. Okay. Cool. Well, now when I add in the the mid, sorry, we're hearing it the way we heard it as a stereo file before, which is great. If I now turn this trim off, what does it sound like? Apologies for that. Ugh. Try again. And off. So what's happening there is that if we don't flip the phase, we don't get the sense of the stereo, the spread, and the space of the sides. It's for reasons I'm not going to go into in detail right now, but if anyone is interested, I can, and there's also a really great article by Sound on Sound that is worth reading thoroughly to understand this. Obviously, when we're thinking about stereo, we're thinking about phase often, so okay, enough said about that. Now, final thing we're going to do is we're going to send all of these back to our MS sum bus. Cool. And then the input of this, MS sum. So now this is the sum of whatever we're doing. Now we haven't done anything yet. So what is the point of all this? Well, okay, so the reason that I kind of like to have these separate is that it's just really easy under my hands. So let's say, for example, with this track, it's too much at the front and I want it to be more roomy. All I need to do is just to pull this down. Okay, we can change the relationships. Or I can do the opposite thing. Let's say that I want it to be more mono and more in the center. Great. Cool, okay. So now the other thing that we can do, I don't know where that came from, the other thing that we can do is, it's not just about leveling, because that seems like a lot of work just for the levels, and there's other encoders. Something that I really use this for is if I want to process the different parts of the signal. This is something that I'm going to carry on in the next video. So yeah, hope that you enjoyed this, and definitely try this first, and then we can go on to playing around with these mid and sides signals separately. Okay, ciao.